So this just comes down here, screws on here. Again, this is 27 gallons of water, so it's really nice. Boom, you got your watering system. I've got a bypass here if you want to drain it. I started building this coop before I actually started a YouTube channel. So you guys kind of got picked up in the middle of it and so forth. And then so what I was showing in those videos was specific things, like building the pipe feeders, building the watering system, that kind of thing. But I never actually have done a full walkthrough. So that's what I want to do today. So to give you guys a little bit of a background, this is kind of a version 3.0 of this kind of design. I love this coop design. Now, it's not a big shed style that you walk in and all of that like a lot of you guys have that I've seen on the internet and everything. But I truly think this might be one of the best designs for certain applications. So I'm going to take you down and show you the coop that we're currently using now, which is actually version 1.0 of this design. All right, guys, so I'm down here at my coop down here that we're using now. This is the version 1.0 of what I've built up there. As you can see, this coop here is kind of like a free range coop, a free range style coop. So all the chickens basically come outside every day in free range. When you're looking at this thing head on, first off, the other coop was 12 feet long and the house portion took up exactly half of that. So it was 6 foot house, 6 foot open. This coop, not counting the nest boxes or this shelf over here, from here to here is 14 feet. So it's 2 feet longer this way. But the house, instead of being 6 foot, the half of the 12 foot on the old coop, the house is 9 feet. So 9 feet there, which makes this, I'm gonna call this the front porch area, 5 feet. The reason I did that is I found on the old coop, you don't need a huge front porch area. That's just kind of a little spot they come out in the morning to see if it's bright yet or whatever, and then they come down and so forth. And speaking of measurements, the coop is 4 feet wide to maximize plywood, because plywood's 4 feet wide. So it's basically 4 foot wide by 14 feet long. It's also taller. It's a couple inches taller than the other one, which is nice. So this coop, guys, is all about access. If you're looking at the front here, look at all the doors. So you have door here, here, here. Remember how I couldn't get to this on that other coop? Got a door down here. Didn't have that on the other one. And I got a door over here. The only spot without a door is the middle area. Walking around to this side of the coop, we have the nesting box area. And if you remember, on my other one, the nesting box was on this back side and you had to walk between a building. That was kind of a pain in the butt. So I moved it over here, which is also super nice because it kind of serves as a roof for the automatic door there. So I have a separate video on that install. I have a separate video on a lot of this too, guys. I went with a metal roof just like I did on the old one. It's totally zero maintenance. However, on the old one, the nesting box roof was wood. It was plywood actually. And the roof was what flipped up and then you reached in and got your eggs. That design sounds great in theory. But what happened was the original one rotted out in 5 years and it was made with 3/4 inch plywood with exterior paint on it. Rotted totally out. So probably about 2 years ago, I made another door for it and I used 3/4 inch pressure treated plywood and painted it, and that seems to be holding up a lot better. But moral of the story is I wanted to get away from wood roofs. So to get into it, instead of the roof folding up, the side folds up. So you open these latches. I should mention, guys, all of these latches I special ordered and they're all stainless steel. I basically built this thing to the best of my knowledge and my skill level to last as long as it possibly can. So the nesting boxes are here. This pops open instead of the roof, and there's your nest boxes. So moving around to the back side here, if you remember, when I was down there showing you my other coop, the feed barrels that I keep feeding were like over here, but the pipe feeders on the other one were all the way up here. So I moved the pipe feeders over here to make it real easy to get from the feed barrels to the pipe feeders. And I also added more pipe feeders. They're even a little bit taller, they hold more. As I mentioned, longevity was one of the huge things with this coop when I built it. And obviously I have a better budget now than I did when I was like 20 years ago when I was 17. Everything is basically stainless steel. This is actually, this frame is stained all the way around. I used the best stain I could find as far as looking at the ratings. The paint is the best exterior paint you can get. I believe it's Bear Marquee. Probably one of the two bigger things that added cost to it is all the trim on this thing is PVC trim. This is not wood, this is PVC plastic, every bit of it. So none of this trim is gonna rot out. Talking more about the materials, I have a separate video on this as well, but the hardware cloth, so the other chicken coop had chicken wire on the bottom. Never had an issue with predators or anything. I actually had an issue with the bottom 70 inches rusting out on the chicken wire. But I think for predator purposes and for the rust, the hardware cloth's a much better choice. And go out there and check that video out. But I ended up settling with the PVC coated hardware cloth. So the hardware cloth is hot dip galvanized, then they add a PVC coating to it, and they say this has a 30-year lifespan. Also, the staples that hold all of this together are stainless steel staples. So they won't rust and they won't streak down or anything on the coop. So if you're wondering what this shelf is for, I have a separate video on it, but if you haven't seen it, this shelf is for a watering system. And it's a carryover from my other coop. And basically, I'll show you how it works. But right now, there's nothing up here. And I just there's a true union ball valve here that goes into a PVC fitting area here. I'll show you what's on the other side of that and how that works. But one upgrade I did was I added angle iron under here just to make it more secure, because it's a 4-foot span of 2x8s there. So I didn't change much on this setup from my other coop because it works so well. But this is a normal bin. It's those yellow and black bins that you see at Home Depot and Lowe's. I've just painted it all black, which helps with algae. But this is 27 gallons. Believe it or not, they hold up super good. I still use the original one down there, and the sun, none of that. Nothing makes it brittle. It doesn't grow algae, none of that. But what you do is I have two true union ball valves here, which means they're union and ball valves all together. This is the rest of the system. So this just comes down here, screws on here. Again, this is 27 gallons of water, so it's really nice. Boom, you got your watering system. I've got a bypass here if you want to drain it. I've used this to fill little 1 gallon, 3 gallon jugs, that kind of thing, if I'm raising chicks down there or something, because I don't actually have pressurized water down there. But this is a bypass. It's actually got a water hose thread here. You can hook up a water hose on it here, say a 10-foot hose or something, and you can drain this and you don't have water right here. So I love this system, guys. It's probably one of my favorite things. It's so nice on the old coop. If I come in this door right here, come in right here, you will see that PVC that was back there runs into a hole in the back of this 2x6. And then I have this watering system right here that I built. Go out there and check out the video. There's a separate video on it, but it's basically 2-inch PVC with nipples in it that are actually screwed into bushings with actual threads, and they're not just threaded into a bucket or a PVC or something. They do not leak. Continuing on with the outside stuff, one of the changes I made was, instead of the hole that they come up through being in the middle on my other coop, I moved it to the back out of the way because in the middle it's just stupid. It just takes up room. But if you come down here, right up here, I have a little storage area. This comes out and down. And this is actually the cutout. And then it's got some trim around it of this hole here. So if you want to lock the chickens upstairs for whatever reason, right there you go. So I'll just show you up underneath the coop here real quick. I crawled under here. This is the ramp I was just speaking of. There's a separate video of me building that. So there's a latch up here. You undo the latch and the whole ramp comes down. And right there you go. I have electrical outlets, some nice timers. Check out that video. And it's an outlet over there in case I ever get a door or anything that runs on electric. I can just use that. I have the lights under here. These are more for predators because it'll light up this whole area out here. Keep predators away from the area. And then this is the pipe feeder area. If you haven't seen that video, go out there and check it out. I will say, with the price of PVC now, these are not the most economical feeders, but for this type of coop, where it's not a walk-in shed or anything, I love them. I mean, they're amazing. You can fill them up from the outside, and they're tough and they last forever. The only other thing I'll point out about the electrical is what I did was I basically put me a nice rubber cord on this, feeding this coop into this junction box. And what it does is it goes down here into an extension cord end. And all I got to do now is when I get this coop to where I'm going, I literally just plug the coop up and everything will work. So I've basically shown you most of the outside now. As I was kind of talking about the paint earlier, one of the things I should have mentioned was in my effort to use the best materials that at least I was aware of, this is LP Smart siding, and it's an engineered siding. It's got a crazy warranty on it. I mean, go check it out. But this is LP Smart siding with what they call SilverTech, with SilverTech. So on the inside, attached to the siding is kind of an aluminum foil kind of stuff. And what it does is it keeps the shed or the coop or whatever it's on a lot cooler in the summertime. As we move in here, it's not a ton to look at, but there's the nesting boxes right there. And I have one LED light in here, and that is powered by, you've probably seen it on other videos, but it's powered by this outlet right here with this nice timer. Check that video out. So the other thing I did on the other chicken coop that I really like is I made removable roost bars. So these are 2x2s. The piece here is 2x4s. And what I did was I notched them on the table saw. Okay? So even if I was, right here, say I'm cleaning the coop out or whatever, I can just come in here, lift up on this roost bar, take the whole thing out. So anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I hope you really enjoyed it, but this was a fun build. I am glad it's over. I'm gonna move on to something else. But, just keep in mind, this coop was built for longevity. It wasn't the cheapest coop to build. The PVC trim, the best paint, all of that is not cheap. But our goal is, I've already had chickens for so many years. I'm planning on having them for, I guess, the rest of my life. I don't know. So the goal is to basically have this thing last as long as we can. And I tried to build it the best that I could. So anyways, if you enjoyed this video, go out there and subscribe to the channel because we'd love to have you around. And on that note, guys, we will see you again next time.